Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bagels Top 10. We're doing Holden's today. We're just going over our top 10 favorite video games of all time. So this is for Holden. Number 10, Bayonetta.
Yeah, Bayonetta is something I grew up playing. In 2014, I played it at first on the Wii U, and it's kind of like this, beat 'em up, goofy game. Where it's just an outrageous story and a very fun game style I've always enjoyed playing.
The only experience I had with Bayonetta is fucking getting destroyed by her in Smash Bros. Online.
That too. So. She's such a fun character even in Smash, and I love the story. It has one of my favorite endings in games ever, just because it dupes you past the credits, and games don't really do that, so it's really unique.
All right, we got number 9 here, Spec Ops: The Line.
Spec Ops, again, kind of a really strange game. I really love. It's third person. Nolan North is voice acting in it. And it's a very psychological warfare game that...
from the footage, there's a lot of, crazy gore and stuff.
Yeah, and I really like the story because you're led to believe that you're the good guy and you're the bad guy, and you're doing worse and worse things.
That's an interesting plot point.
Yeah, and there's multiple endings again. It's really cool. Yeah. And the gameplay is that's why I rated it lower. But in terms of story, the story really is held up. It's really good. But besides that, I just recommend playing the game without spoiling the
Gotcha.
story.
Okay, we got number 8 here, Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, the Metal Gear Solid series really is hard. I wanted to put a lot of them in my top 10, but I went with 4 as my favorite because it's ending the story pretty much, and it's the end of Big Boss and Snake, and it's just such a fun game to play if you're a fan of the series, and you get to see the end of our favorite characters, pretty much. There's a lot of cutscenes, but I think this is when the gameplay is at the top of the spear when it comes to the series.
That's what I think of with Metal Gear, is the cutscenes. All right, we got number 7, Oblivion.
Oblivion is, again, I love the Elder Scrolls franchise. It was Oblivion or Skyrim, but Oblivion was the first Elder Scrolls I played. It's so fun.
The clips I got here are so fucking funny.
It's such a fun game to play. It's goofy and a lot of glitches in the game, but it's fun. The story and lore is fun to go through. It's really just a fun time with this game, to be honest. That's why I rated it high. It's a childhood favorite.
Yeah.
But
this guy right here is just resisting arrest.
Yeah, fighting the guards and doing stuff you're not supposed to is the most fun part about the game.
And the mods are pretty cool too. All right, so number 6, Deus Ex. I can never pronounce that series.
The first Deus Ex is great. Again, I love the franchise, but the first Deus Ex is very fun. It's kind of the OG RPG, or futuristic RPG. It's really immersive with the story, and it's honestly dated well. It's still going back playing it. It's super fun. The story is crazy. You have so many weapons and so many ways you can complete missions. Like in the clip here, I believe is the first mission.
Gotcha.
And you could either kill everyone or you can stealth past everyone. Interesting. I love it when games do that. Yeah. And I really wish they did more with this franchise, but this is still a game I highly recommend.
All right, we got number 5, Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2, again, a very good franchise I love. But Silent Hill 2, this is the remake we're showing I'm excited for, is such a fun game. It's like puzzles and horror, obviously.
Yeah, you got a dead thing right here.
Exactly, and it's like psychological. I love Silent Hill 2 in particular because you're going back to... It's like a one-off. The Silent Hill is usually on a series about a cult that's mixed in with it, but the cult isn't in Silent Hill 2, and it's kind of just about a very depressed guy, James, trying to find his dead wife.
That is depressing.
That somehow wrote a letter back to him, so he goes back to Silent Hill.
Gotcha.
But I'm super excited for the remake.
Yeah, it looks good.
And if the remake is just like the original, then that'll be in the top 5.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, it's I'm excited for it. This is a game I recommend. I believe it's very underrated. And if you like horror, I'd highly recommend playing this game. But yeah, just make sure you get the Xbox 360 remastered for now if you want to play the original with Silent Hill 3.
And speaking of a horror game franchise, we're entering number 4 with Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4, OG or remastered. I feel like maybe both can be put in this. Maybe
Got the
remastered's
remastered footage
over.
right now.
Yeah, again, great franchise that I grew up playing. And Resident 4 in particular, it's when the story and the gameplay come together, and that's when it's at its best. With characters and what's happening in the story, it's super fun. Leon Kennedy, obviously a badass character that's awesome to play as. Ada Wong, also in the game we get to see, and we get to play the DLC as her.
Yep.
Separate Ways, which is a really fun DLC. Wesker, a great antagonist that we see in the game. Al Salvador is a guy that we get to fight. The antagonist.
Characters.
Yeah.
Number 3, a classic Valve game, Half-Life 2.
Yeah, Half-Life 2 at 3 is, again, it's such. It's hard to say. Like it's hard
to order your top 3.
Yeah, and it's cliche to put Half-Life so high, but it honestly deserves it. Like, it deserves the recognition because it's just... the gameplay was revolutionary for the time, and it still is. It's just so good, and the story's great, even though, again, it ends on a cliffhanger and we haven't gotten anything in a sense, but...
fan-made stuff, I think, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's fan-made stuff, and Half-Life Alyx come out, but... Besides that, the gameplay particular for Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 Episode 2 also
great.
Just aged great. It's super fun. And if you haven't played it, I don't know what you're doing because I feel like everyone's played this game. Or at least seen it. But
right. If you don't know what it is, what are you doing?
Yeah, it deserves a...
All right, number 2, something I could talk about a bit as well, is Uncharted 2 Among Thieves.
Yeah, Uncharted is a hard series because it's probably my favorite series of all time. And
going back to Nolan North as well.
Exactly, Nolan North's back, and I just put Uncharted 2 because it's such an upgrade above 1. And it's somehow such an upgrade above 3 and 4. It just innovated so much
that you couldn't top it.
Exactly. The missions are insanely fun.
And this is the first scene of the game right here, is hanging from a train.
Yeah, this train scene is one of my favorite scenes in gaming.
And you get to shoot a helicopter later on.
The helicopter, and the one train scene when he's running on the train, he's running, that's one of my favorite missions. Just such a memorable game.
There's a lot in it too. It's got like 26 chapters. It's the most of any game in that series.
Yeah, and I think the combat still, even versus 4, might be at its best. It's just a super fun game that
there's some combat right there.
You can always go back to. That's what makes it great.
And number 1, Holden's favorite game of all time, Dead Space 2.
Yeah, Dead Space 2. Again, this was the first rated M game I've ever played. Back when it came out in 2013, I believe. So I have a lot of regard to that. But to me, like Uncharted 2, it was upgrade to everything than the original. Expanded on the story. It made everything better from the original. And it mixes horror and survival perfect. Like, you're playing the game. At least your first time, you're genuinely like, what the hell's happening, and scared. And every, again, kind of chapter in this game's memorable, and it's different enough, it mixes it up.
And two, just like Uncharted added a bunch from the first game as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the combat's great. And there's a lot of challenge to it too. If you beat the game on the hardest difficulty, where you can only save once, you get the hand bang gun, where it's just Isaac goes bang bang bang, where he has a hand. Thank you for watching my top 10.